It's a very sentimental car to me. Since the NSX, I've had, you know, the Gallardo, the Murcielago, all the Ferraris. Now, this is the keeper. This is the car I will never sell. Kind of reminds me of where my journey started with modifying cars. What a special car. Welcome to another episode of DBTV. As you can see, we're here next to my 1997 Honda NSX. Clearly it's not stock, it's a wide body. On today's vlog, we're basically going to do a detailed walk around the NSX. Don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody. As I just mentioned, this is a 1997 Honda NSX, which I purchased in 2006. It's actually the second NSX I've owned. So I had a coupe 91 NA1. This one's a 1997 NA2. So the difference between an NA1 and an NA2 is the NA2's got a 6-speed, it's got a 3.2 litre engine. And as you can see, this one's is the target top. What I did with the previous NA1 is I did a wide body. So it's actually the same wide body that I had on my coupe. And I put the kit onto this later model. Yeah, so I've had it in 2006. It's been pretty much off the road for the last 5 years. And for all those OGs, my old NSX was actually what kind of started my journey in auto salon and the modifying car scene. Back in 2005, I did the shows for a few years, won a few trophies on it. So this car in the last 5 years, I've just updated the interior with suede to kind of more like the NSX-R. The front bumper is actually a custom-made wide body front bumper. It was all done by J Racing in Canberra. Front guards, I did the side skirt, so little FYI, these side skirts is actually based off a 33 GDR 400 Nismo 400R, which we custom made. The mirrors are carbon 6 composite, looks like the Spoon, but it's actually not the Spoon mirrors. Tay-Tech rear fenders. Overall, the car's around 30 mil wider. AME traces I've got on at the moment. To be honest, I'm kind of probably going to be looking to change the wheels. But yeah, that's the exterior. This bonnet is meant to be like the 02 NSX-R. I've had this for over 10 years now. Now looking at it in the daylight, it's starting to crack in a few places. So probably need a new bonnet. What have I done underneath the hood of this car? So yes, stock, it's a 3.2 litre 6-cylinder, naturally aspirated, makes around 280 horsepower. Then maybe around just over 10 years ago, I'd put the Comtech supercharger on, Group M airbox, and then recently, when it's been off the road for the last few years, I've added an ECU, Haltech ECU, so we've had it tuned now, and it's gone up from around 280 horsepower to closer to 400. Definitely noticeable, the power difference. So that was probably the one thing with NSX, has been a little bit low on power. You'd always have to get it in the higher RPM. Obviously the VTEC performs well. It was a bit rough before the tune. So the guys at Sydney Automotive Services did a great job with, with the tune. So people ask, how did I get into NSXs? I think it all started in when I was doing my year 12 HSC, which is the final year of high school. My poster car was this NA2 Type S and S0. I kind of finished this goal. And when I was finishing high school, that was my poster car. That was my dream car. I actually was close to moving to Japan and teaching as an English teacher so that I could import one. Because Australia, we did have NSXs, but we only had just the standard ones. We didn't have any of the special editions. Like we didn't have the Type S, the S0, or any of the Rs. So we only had the basic one and then this one, which is the T. So that's how I got into NSXs. Probably the next part will be, how did I get into the modifying part? How did I wide body it? That came a few years later, actually. That JGTC, which was like the racing version of NSXs, was around, and I'm like, I want that, but for the road. So I started looking into the car magazines. Back then, no internet or anything like that. So I got in the magazines, contacted a few people in Japan, a bit of help from NSX Prime. Shout out to the Prime guys in the US. Saw a few in the US, and I said, I didn't want something off the shelf. I wanted to build my own. So yeah, 2005, I flew to Japan with nothing, no luggage, picked up all the parts and brought it back with me. And as they say, the rest is history. I wide-bodied my first one, and I've been modifying cars since. What have I done interior-wise to this NSX? So obviously I've changed the steering wheel. The original one had this huge chunky steering wheel with the airbag, gone with a Momo that kind of looks like the NSX R steering wheel. I just had it reupholstered with the leather, with the red at the 12 o'clock position. So I've always had these Recaros even in my coupe, but through SRK I've had it retrimmed to suede. So this is very a la NSX R with the red stitching, so they had to take the whole dash off. The seats now, yeah, again, red Alcantara suede. Signature there, people ask me who signed the glove box. That was Uehara-san, who was the head engineer at the time that the NSX NS2000 was in development. In 2015, we were lucky enough that the NSX Club had him come to Australia to go for the drive through Tasmania. And so Uehara-san signed that glove box. I've changed the stereo. I've just recently put the double DIN head unit, but it's still not perfect yet. Got CarPlay. Again, I only got the car back yesterday. There's a few things that are a bit loose. Since the NSX, I've had, the Gallardo, the Murcielago, all the Ferraris. This is the keeper. This is the car I will never sell. It's a very sentimental car to me. Maintenance-wise, until I didn't drive it, this car was faultless. I started having problems when I didn't drive the car. But overall, at the end of the day, this is a Honda. So the maintenance of the car has been, relatively cheap. You just got to have your major services every 4 or 5 years. But other than that, it's been a very economic car to run. Oh, we got a tunnel run. All right, we're ready for our first NSX tunnel run. Brakes don't feel great. So back in the day, us oldies, we used to go to the cafe. This was like an anti-theft device, but really the other thing as well is for me to get in and out of the car. As you can see, if I couldn't take the steering wheel off, my knees would be hitting here. But now that I can take it off, I've got more space to get in and out of the car. If you're worried about somebody stealing the car, you bring this to the cafe with you, with your head unit, with the faceplate. So today was all about the NSX. First time driving it in 5 years. I've been married to my wife for 4.5. She's never been in this car. What was my first impressions after 5 years? She's an old car. The tires, I probably need to update the tires. There's a few little niggles, but what a special car, regardless. Can't believe that the original one's coming up to 30 years, guys. 30 years, originally in 91, 92 model. The power, obviously now with a supercharger being tuned, oh, she goes. Not complaining about that. But maybe we should do a follow-up where we do a proper longer drive in the NSX. But as I mentioned earlier, she's a keeper. I'll never sell this car. kind of reminds me of when my journey started with modifying cars. I'm so sorry to the NSX fans that I haven't driven this car for such a long time. It is a crime. It's got 112,000 Ks. There's no reason why I shouldn't be driving it more. Thanks guys for watching another episode of DB TV, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Testing 1, 2, 3.